Well, good morning. 5:52 a.m. This is my last morning in Tassie for this trip. I'm at a lookout. I can't remember the name of the lookout. Let me quickly have a look on Google Maps. It's just called the Tasman Bay National Park Lookout. There you go. I don't know what's going to happen this morning. There's a fair bit of cloud in the sky. I can see the clouds are starting to colour up. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take a panoramic image across this scene. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it yet, whether I'm going to use my wide angle and join a couple of shots together, or if I'm going to put my zoom lens in on the X-T1, turn it into portrait mode, and maybe take 5 or 6 shots and stitch them together. Really depends on what happens with the colour in that sky as to what I do. But you never know, right? You never know. And I can see glimpses of colour up here. It's probably hard for you to see with this camera not picking it up so well. But I can see glimpses of colour in the clouds. Now whether that gets any stronger or not, who knows? We can only hope. We are hanging in there. We're set up, we're ready to do this. A little bit windy, a little bit cold. Got my beanie on and my fingerless Michael Jackson gloves. And just waiting now, waiting for the sun to rise. So we've got about 35 minutes till sunrise. Yeah, just taking a few sample shots now. Which is one of the beautiful things with digital photography. Back in the film day, we didn't have this luxury, did we? Where we could take shots and check it out before we got them processed. But I'm just trying to work out my best attack for this panoramic image I want to take. I can also see already that I'm going to need to put some filters on because I'm blowing out the skies are blowing out. Just in my first 2 frames, I've definitely got some blown highlights. So, you know, it's good to test these things and know that, because it's real dark right now, right? So you're not really sure, you know, what's happening. Take a test shot. That was all 30-second exposures at f5.6 ISO 200. I've got my exposure value compensation dial up at +1. I'm just going to bring that back down. But it's a good way to really check your, when I do a sample shot, I increase the exposure value by 1 because that gives me a really good idea of what the composition looks like. I can see everything really easily. So I'm going to bring it back down now. All right, let's get some filters on. So I'm going to stick the 7.5 filter on the lens. And I think I'll stick with the wide angle lens. I think it's going to work best. I think I'm going to keep it in this portrait mode and just snap off, I don't know, 3 images. I think I'm going to be sorry if I do that because it's going to be too narrow. And this is the challenge, right? So if I turn this over onto, sorry, this is in landscape mode. If I turn it onto portrait mode, then the remote has a problem. But I'm going to do that. I'm going to switch it over and see what difference that makes, because I'll probably get a better chance of being able to crop it in a way that's going to be a better panoramic. All right, well, I've got myself set up now with my camera in portrait mode, and I've sort of leveled it as best as I can so I can swing around and take a series of shots that I can stitch together later in Lightroom or Photoshop. We're still about 20 minutes away from sunrise, so still waiting to see if any colour is going to happen. There's been no pre-sunrise colour, and that's not a good sign. That's not a good sign. What that probably means is that we're not going to see an actual sunrise colour. I was really lucky. Yesterday morning the sky was amazing, and I shot down at the tessellated pavement. You know, lucked it, considering I'm only here for 2 sunrises. This morning, I'm just hanging out waiting, and you know, sometimes with this type of cloud cover, I don't know how well you can see it. Let me see if I can help you see that cloud up there. Yeah, there we go. It's probably better. You know what's going to happen, but sometimes when you get this type of cloud cover, the sky can light up. The whole sky can light up with colour all of a sudden, and it can be very quick. So I want to be ready. So I've just set up. I've put a 0.9 ND grad in. I'm currently at f8, I'm going to bring that up to f9. Now what determines my aperture? Well, you know, you want to try and make it, with landscape anyway, you want to try and make it so it's sharp throughout the entire image. And so what I do is I pick an aperture that's a nice safe aperture. And f9, f10, f11, that sort of bracket, you're going to find that you're going to be relatively safe when it comes to getting an exposure that works. So I'm going to now take a series of shots. I'm going to make sure I overlap them slightly. I've just got the ND graduated filter in there to darken down the sky. Actually a bit of a dangerous thing to do in a pano because you know, it can create lines where it joins. But if you do a big enough overlap, and I'm talking, you know, a 40% overlap, then you should be fine. And you know, in digital, 40% doesn't matter. Like, you're not paying for the shot, so overlap at 50% doesn't matter. Just go crazy, and that way you can get away with using your filters as well. I think I need to move my graduated filter slightly. We'll have a look once these pictures are done. I'll then preview them and then make a decision. I don't want to preview them as I'm doing them. I want to do them as quickly as I can when I'm doing a pano at sunrise, because that light is changing by the second, and just over those 4 exposures, 6 seconds each, those 24 seconds, the sun has moved. So you know, you've got to be really careful, otherwise if you muck around, you'll get different lights throughout your 4 pictures, and then stitching them together, they're going to look funny. I'm really doubtful we're going to get any colour. I don't want to spoil our morning, but this is more like what I typically get. I have had an amazing run the last few days, an amazing run with the colour. And last night, the sunset was actually really impressive. And I didn't come out, I was tired. We'd done a full day out at Port Arthur. I was really tired, I didn't come out, and I missed out. But you know, that's the story of the photographer's life. You're not going to get them all, right? Not going to catch them all. Well, I got good news and I got bad news. The good news is we're only 4 minutes off a sunrise. The bad news is, whilst the sun will rise, I don't think we're going to see any colour. I'd rather be out and about enjoying sunrise than sitting in bed or lying in bed, not getting to see this and listening to nature. I've had some, some wild chickens come past. I've had some other little funny hoppy things. They're not wallabies. They're not kangaroos, but they still hop. I don't know what they are. Maybe down in the comments if you know what they are. There seems to be a lot of them in Tasmania. They have a tail. They're quite small, very plump little creatures, and they hop around. Had a few of them pass by. I'll shoot off a pano now. Let's do it, just so you can see once again how a panoramic image is shot. All right, settings wise, aperture priority f9, graduated filter in, 3 stops for the sky, and that might be overkill, but it seems to be okay in the preview, so we'll give that a go. Take your first shot, make sure you got something in there that's prominent, feature that can be lined up later. So I'm going to do that now. First shot, done. Overlap, I'm going to do about a 50% overlap. As I said before, it doesn't matter. You can have as much overlap as you want. And as you can see, I'm just snapping off images. I'm just moving slightly to the right, overlapping my images. And that way, later on, it's very easy to stitch them together. So there we go. How many did I take? Let's have a look. I took a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so 8 images. But that 8 images, that'll make a really nice panoramic image. It's quite a nice view out here. Like, it's quite a nice view. It would be really nice if the sky would colour up. That's what we're going to order next, is the sky colouring up. It's been quite good this trip. 4 nights in Tasmania. This is my final morning, so we've just had our 4th night, and I fly out in about 6 hours. And I've got to actually fly to Melbourne for a meeting and then fly to Sydney later tonight. So it's a big day today. But I thought I'd get up and get the last sunrise. I was a bit tired last night. I decided not to shoot sunset. I couldn't find a sunset location easily, so I just opted out of doing it, and regretted it. The colour at sunset was really nice. But these things happen. These things happen. So on this trip, I've been using the Fuji X-T1 pretty much exclusively, and you know, a lot of people will be asked, why aren't you shooting the Nikon? I do get these questions a lot. People are very concerned. By the way, what is the best camera? Any camera, I don't care what it is. Just get out and take some pictures, and that's fun. Well, sunrise is right now, well, in a minute, 1 minute. But yeah, I've been shooting with the X-T1 because when I flew to Tassie, I came across on Jetstar, and they have a carry-on limit of 7 kilos. And I had the Nikon gear in my f-stop bag, and I couldn't get it down to 7 kilos. Switched out to the X-T1 with the 10 to 24 millimeter lens, the 40 to 150 mm lens, which is the 70 to 200 equivalent, and that was it. And I put that in the bag along with my Lee filter kit, and I didn't want to put this into my check-in luggage because there's some of the filters are glass, and that made me like 7.2 kilos, and all the charges and bits and pieces I put into my check-in luggage. And I know some of you say, oh, but Ben, they never check you, but they do. I know I've been on a trip before with the boss and one of the boss's friends. We both had very little carry-on. She had a lot of carry-on because she didn't buy any checked luggage. We ended up having to put a fair bit of her carry-on luggage into our carry-on to get her down under the weight because Jetstar wanted to charge her $1 squillion. And I just don't need that stress of having, it's not even the money. I don't care about paying if I had too much carry-on. I don't want to put my camera gear in the hold of an aeroplane. I've seen how they treat stuff. I don't want my camera gear thrown around. So yeah, that's why I've got the Fuji X-T1. As for my other travel setup, I've got some other cool bits and pieces that make it a bit easier to travel. This tripod, for example, is a Benro C3180T carbon fibre travel tripod. And the benefit of this tripod is it actually folds up flat. So you can put it on the bottom of your suitcase. It takes up hardly any room. I've also got another little Benro Travel Angel that you're sitting on right now. And I'm finding that's very small, packs up really light. And then that's really it. I'm packing really light with the camera gear today. I'm going to come back for a big round the Tassie sort of drive. I don't know when. I'm thinking next year, early next year, and I'll be here for a few weeks. I think I'll bring the car over, so I'll be able to just pack everything in the back of the car, stick it on the Spirit of Tasmania. It'll be lopsided with the weight of my camera gear, and we'll spend a good few weeks over here. I said before how I thought the morning was over, there was no colour. Well, the sun is now rising, and we're starting to see some colour on the landscape. So I think what I'll do is I'll hang out for another 10 minutes or so and just see what colour we get. Because it's a beautiful light. It is a really nice light hitting the trees. So I think we'll just give it a bit longer. We might get something amazing. So let's just hang out and see what happens. Especially once the light hits this valley down here. I think it'll be a nicer shot anyway, and we'll take a pano of that. Well, I think Mother Nature is teasing me. There was a glimmer of hope. There's some nice warm light hitting the trees. All right, so I think this is definitely it. We're calling it. I'm going to call it. I'm going to go get some coffee. If you're enjoying the videos, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Leave your comments down below. Love to hear from you. And of course, if you're on social media, you can join me there. Instagram on 3 legs with the number 3. Facebook.com/on3legs with the number 3. And my blog on3legs.com with the number 3 or the word 3. Join me there, and hopefully if you're enjoying the videos, like I said, leave some comments below. I'd love to hear from you, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.